Okay, welcome to our third session of Intro to Technology. We are here to help you get into virtual learning. So I'm going to share my screen, and so you can follow along with our presentation, which should be here.
Okay,
right.
Alicia, can I just say a couple of things before I turn it over to you?
Go for it.
Sorry, we got a little out of whack with that Zoom debacle, but I think we're back on. Hi, I'm Susan Lopes from CNI, and like Alicia said, we want to welcome you to the Virtual Summer Institute. I'm sure everyone has a lot of questions. There's a lot on everyone's mind. So I would like to ask you to please keep questions that do not have to do with the training. Please keep them in the parking lot that we'll talk about. I know there's a lot of unanswered questions, and people at the district are working on that day in and day out. So those hopefully will be answered. But today's focus is really focusing on how to become better virtual teachers so that we can engage our students as much as possible. We have some fabulous presenters today. They've been working tirelessly all summer, nights and weekends, trying to get quality content. I'm going to ask that all of you stay muted, please. This is a very large group. And with that being said, all questions pertaining to the training are going to go in the chat box. We will be monitoring it and trying to adjust the questions. At the end, you'll be responsible for completing not only an eval like any other presentation, but also a sign out, and that is crucial for payroll. I also want to remind you, if your name does not say what your first and last name is on your Zoom screen, you can go up to the right corner of your picture and change your name. That way it's easier for us to tell who's here and cross-reference the roll sheet. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our amazing presenters, Bethany and Alicia. Take it away, ladies.
So I'm Alicia Areola, and I'm a second grade teacher at Harding, and my co-presenter today is...
I'm Bethany Gonzalez, and I teach third grade at McKinley Elementary.
So this presentation is going to be divided into two major parts. One, we're going to introduce to you some features of Zoom and our new EdTech website, and then we're going to switch presenters, and Bethany's going to teach you how to utilize that website into a Google Classroom. But before we begin, we really want to emphasize that this presentation is going to model how you can interact with your students in a virtual learning environment. So, as you can see, I did not share my presentation with you. You do not have access to it to move anything around or to participate. We're going to utilize the chat by dropping in shared links that will allow you to participate on activities with us. We're going to model that process right now because you're going to utilize it when we drop in the parking lot, your evaluation, and your sign out at the end of our session. So here is a Jamboard. Jamboard is a Google app that basically mimics a digital whiteboard. Here you can create an activity and share the link with your students to have them interact with you. I'm going to model first, and then Bethany is going to share the link in the chat so you can jump in with me. So this is a Google Jamboard. As you can see, I have created a question that you are going to answer, and you answer on a Jamboard either by using digital ink, or a simpler tool is the sticky note option. And the sticky note option is the fourth icon down, and I'm going to show you how to use it. When you click on the sticky note, this window will pop up, and here you're allowed to type. Today we're going to just type our name to go with our question. Once you've typed something, you can select a color such as green, pink, orange, or blue, kind of like the sticky notes we would put on a regular piece of paper. And after you select your color, you're going to hit save. Automatically, you're going to notice that your sticky note appeared on this Jamboard, but it still has this window up so you can add another sticky note. We can just hit cancel to close that window down. Once you have put your sticky note on, you can click on it, and this blue little outline means you can move it around,
You can also click on the outside dots and make it bigger or smaller. Because we are such a large group, please make your sticky note more on the smaller side versus the larger. So one more time, we're going to be using the sticky note option, the fourth icon down. Your window's going to pop up. You're going to type something and you're going to change your color, and then you're going to hit save. When the window pops up again, you can hit cancel. So let's get to the question. Have you used Google Classroom before? When the link is put in the chat, you're going to add a sticky note, type your name, but then change the color of your sticky note to match green for yes, I've used Google Classroom, or the pink color to say no, I haven't. Now, this is a large group, so a little warning. Jamboard only lets so many people onto it. So after you add your sticky note, go ahead and close the link up here, and it will take you back to the presentation or the Zoom. So go ahead, make sure you add a sticky note with your name, change the color to answer the question. Once you've added your sticky note, go ahead and make sure you close down the window so that other people can get in. And I'll give you a couple of minutes to add that sticky note.
And I dropped the link to it in the chat. If for some reason you're not able to access it, you don't have to worry about it. Don't stress. You can always try to copy it into your internet. But you also, if it doesn't work, you can type your answer in the chat.
So what she's talking about is hopefully when you drop a link into the chat, it automatically makes it a hyperlink, which means it turns it blue. But if it doesn't turn blue, I'm going to show you right down here at the bottom of my screen. I have all my links. I can copy by highlighting those links, right click on the blue link and hit copy. And then after you do that, you can go up here to the plus sign, open up a brand new internet browser tab, and then just paste your link and it will take you to the actual Google Jamboard. Ooh, look at all the people who have used Google Classroom. That's the great thing about this activity. I can see at a glance how many people have used Google Classroom and how many people have not. This would be great to do a math problem. This would be good for an opinion. You could have kids share their ideas. And it's just a way to make sure your students are engaged with you throughout your lesson. Or in this case, it's a great icebreaker. So thank you for participating in our shared activity and practicing using links from our chat to help participate on our lesson. Now, what I want you to understand is I would love to show you how to create a Jamboard, but due to our time constraints, I can't go step by step. But luckily, we're going to introduce you to the EdTech website, which has tutorials to help you learn how to use Jamboard. And we're going to show you all of the links and where they're housed. But before we do that, let's get a little message from Mr. Lukey introducing and welcoming you to our Summer Virtual Institute. I'm going to
Good morning and welcome again to Summer Virtual Institute. Want to welcome you and thank you for being with us today. As we work together this week to learn more about our instructional program for the 2021 school year, I want to focus a few moments of our time together on the importance of technology and integrating technology into our instructional program. Over the course of the next several days, you will spend time learning more about important instructional elements like Google Classroom. This year, all of our teachers will be asked and expected to utilize Google Classroom to support our instructional program. As we launch the school year, the state of California has provided very clear guidance and direction on the importance of monitoring and engaging students this year. We have found that utilizing Google Classroom is going to support us with being able to assign students work, where we as teachers can monitor the completion of assignments, give feedback to students to strengthen their instructional understanding, and overall have our materials organized in one location that can be shared with teachers across our school sites and hopefully across the district. I'm also happy to announce that the district has invested in Zoom accounts, professional Zoom licensed experiences for all of our teachers and staff in BCSD. This will allow us to have a protected environment where we are engaging students in a virtual nature all throughout the course of this school year. It is my hope that our students can return to school and very soon, that up to the end of the first quarter or shortly thereafter, our kids will return to in-person instruction. But I also recognize that elements like Zoom and Google Classroom are going to be with us for the foreseeable future. So I encourage all of you to embrace this new learning, to be willing to learn from each other, to be willing to share with each other, and ultimately, let's make this year the most successful year for ourselves and for our students. Thank you very much for joining us this week. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful week of learning.
There are 3 things I want to point out about what he mentioned. One was using Google Classroom. Second, you all have Zoom accounts. And third, the sharing of information and resources to make this transition to a virtual learning environment easier. And that's exactly what our presentation is going to hit on. Before we continue, let's go over some of the norms we normally see in our PDs. Unplugged and present means we're following along. Fail forward, I know this is a very different situation, and learning technology while using technology is an obstacle. It's okay to fail and ask for help. That's what the chat is for. You can message the whole group. You can contact Bethany through messages privately. She will help you one-on-one, or she'll interrupt me and say, hey, can you model this again? And that's what we're here for, to answer questions about tech and to help you feel more comfortable. We're going to say track the speaker, but in our case, you're not going to be watching us. You're going to be watching what we're modeling. Our whole thing is we hope that you will do as we do, and we'll show you how to do that. And once again, this is definitely a safe space to learn. Don't worry if it's hard or it's difficult. Share those worries with us, and we'll help you feel better. All right. Virtual PDs are new because this is a virtual environment, and these are the norms that you're going to have to teach to your own students, such as mute yourself, use the chat to interact with the teacher or the presenters, and for us, I'm going to introduce the parking lot to you and signing out virtually. The parking lot is going to be where you're going to ask questions or give comments on things that we don't have the answer to, such as the assessment calendar, specific school schedules, what's it going to be like with teacher prep and contact time with students. We don't have those answers. They're still being worked out, but we want you to share those concerns and comments with the district office. And that's why Bethany is going to put a link in the chat, and she'll put it in there periodically to open up what we call the parking lot. Now I'm going to open up an example to show you what it looks like to kind of get you familiar with it. The parking lot is basically a Google Doc that has spaces where you can click on an open space and type your comment or your question. For example, this one says, who can you submit YouTube links to? And what about textbooks and supplies? We don't have all the answers, but those comments will be forwarded to the district office, and they are going to be looking at all of that and supplying answers to you. So I would suggest if you open up this tab, you keep it open, and then you can flip back between the Zoom screen and your parking lot. All right, let's get into our vision and mission. Even though we're virtually teaching our students, we still want educational excellence and equity and innovation. So we are going to do our best in this session to help you reach all of that, so that students can still collaborate, be creative, and be critical thinkers. They'll still be able to have that environment of teaching and learning. They'll still be able to hit grade level standards. And that's a lot in a virtual environment. So how are we going to hit all of those points? By this learning intention. We're going to teach you how to navigate through our brand new BCSD EdTech website. We're going to teach you to use the resources to help you create lessons that you can give to your students through Google Classroom. By the end of our session, we hope that together you will create a Google Classroom with us for your students next year, and we'll upload content from our EdTech website into the classroom for the first 3 days. All right. Now, before we go any further, we're going to do a little activity to practice some of the features of your Zoom account. And this is called Poll the Audience. I am going to bring up a poll and I'm going to launch it. So a screen should now be appearing in front of you. You can answer the question by clicking on your button. What grade do you teach? Your students will get the same window when you launch a poll and will be able to answer a math question or a simple multiple choice question. So you can get immediate feedback from your students, even though they're not all in front of you. And it tells me on my side how many are actually participating. So right now we've got half of our participants already finishing our poll. Yay!
And if you teach more than one grade level, feel free to drop it in the chat, because I know that happened earlier in other sessions for SPED.
Definitely, like special ed.
There's only 10.
Wow, this is our fastest session. We're going to get every single buddy almost within 1 minute.
I know they're right so far.
We've got like 10 more. Let's go for it. Now, you have to create a poll before you launch your Zoom, so it takes a little preparation, but you could easily do that within a PLC. All right, I'm going to end the poll here, and now I'm going to share the results with you, and so now you should be able to see what everyone chose. So we definitely have a lot of second grade teachers. Hi, my fellow second graders. And we actually have some 8th grade.
Yeah.
Wow. So this kind of gives me information and Bethany where we can lead with our presentation, as well as that Jamboard at the beginning to help us learn about you, even though we can't see you face to face. Now, on our EdTech website, there are going to be tutorials to help you learn how to make that poll. And we're going to show you what the EdTech website looks like. This EdTech Center Google site is everything you will need to start teaching in a virtual environment. So this go.bcsd.com/DFP, write it down, memorize it, because you will be clicking on this link constantly throughout the entire year. Bethany's going to drop it in the chat, but you can also go up, click on the new tab, and then just type in go.bcsd.com/DFP. And we remember those 3 letters. It's the DFP site for us. And here we go. Welcome to our bundle of joy. We have spent many hours trying to make this as user-friendly as possible. So let's go through a brief rundown. Your home page will give you access to the grade level lessons that the curriculum teams have been working very hard on, EdTech guides and tutorials for you to help you learn all about the apps you can use, tutorials for kids that you can share with parents and students. Getting started with the Google Classroom can happen here. We're building out the Family Communication page and the Virtual Summer Institute. Right now, if you click on Virtual Summer Institute, you'll find this very presentation that you can go back and look at. And that Zoom polling tutorial can be found right under here. There's a lot to go through, so we're going to focus our attention on this icon, EdTech Guides and Tutorials. Here, when you click on it, you are going to be brought up to all the Google apps that are associated with a Google Drive account and all the additional EdTech that students are used to or can be utilized in your classroom. When you click on one of our icons or one of the links, it's going to bring you up to pages where there are more options for things to learn, such as create a Google Classroom, make assignments. Everything is broken down by topic. So if you have a question about a specific part, hopefully we have a link for you. Let's look at how the page is laid out. All pages are very similar. You will find a heading, which will give you the topic of the tutorial, some quick directions, and then a short video to help you visualize the steps. Sometimes you may even have a picture where the steps are labeled so you can look at that too. Our goal is we are providing you every way we can think of to give you information so you can self-teach yourself during this time when we're not available to help you as much as we would like. So this is a daunting website and we want to give you some time to look through it. So I'm going to now teach you a little trick that you will need to do so you can follow along with me and look at the presentation at the same time. And we're going to teach you how to minimize your Zoom window. Now, when you teach your students, you might have to teach them a tech skill, and you may not be able to model it correctly doing it live. So sometimes inserting a video and showing it to your students will let them see the skill that they need to repeat. So we're going to do this one really quick, and then maybe we'll even show the Chromebook. So when I'm going to upsize the video, and this is going to teach you how to minimize your Zoom window. So after you watch this video with us, you're going to try to follow the directions so you can minimize too. Here we go. When your presenters start sharing their screen, you're going to notice that it takes over your entire screen, and we want you to be able to do what we do. So you need to minimize your Zoom screen. An easy way to do this is to hit Escape, and then you're going to go up to the top right-hand corner and hit the minimize window. And then you can adjust the window to the size you want so that you're still able to see our presentation, but now you're able to open up a window and then follow along with us. So that is a quick tech tutorial, and you can easily insert those into your lessons for your students. So now I'm going to quickly ask you to try to minimize your window and have your window up and then an internet browser so you can open up the DFP website with us. Should I show this one? As you do that, I'm going to introduce your task. We're going to do a second activity using the features of a Zoom, and that is breakout rooms. Breakout rooms allow you to divide your class into small groups for collaboration and discussion. Now, the best way to use breakout rooms is to give a task where students are held responsible for when they come back to the main room, they have to answer a question. So we're going to pose a question to you. On our EdTech page, the icon that I showed you where it was tutorials, can you explore which app you think you want to use in your virtual classroom, or which app you want to know more about? You're going to be put in your Google or breakout rooms. You're going to talk about that. You're going to click through the website, and then you are going to come back to the whole class and share out by typing in the chat box. So let's go over one more time. You're going to be put in small groups in a breakout room. You're to go through the website on the EdTech tutorial page. You're going to see which of the apps look good to you that you could use. You're going to choose one person in your group to be the speaker. And when I say speaker, that one person can go type in the chat when you come back to the whole room. Now, when a breakout room starts, a little screen is going to pop up right in the middle that's inviting you to join another room. Click on it and you'll be taken away. When the time is up, it's going to ask you to leave your room, or we will close all the breakout rooms to automatically bring you back. All right, Bethany's going to put you in a group. You're going to look through our EdTech website, look through those Google apps, and see which are interesting to you.
So we're now closing you out of your breakout rooms for time. So if you were the speaker, if you could please drop in the chat what is something that you guys discussed or something you noticed on the website.
Welcome back. As you can see, when you come back from a breakout room, your screen will no longer be shared. It will come back to the whole session where you can see all of your participants. All right, did everyone have a chance to drop something in the chat to say what part of the Google site they were looking at? Because it was a lot to look through and you'll probably need to spend quite a bit of time with your PLC going through it.
And the content teams too will review it. If you go to the content sessions for your grade level, your content teams will review that specific section with you. We're more for the tech area.
So can you
just to reiterate what Bethany said, the content team is the what and we're kind of the how. So if you think of it that way, there's lots of stuff to look at with the lessons and you'll have lots of time to spend all your free time looking at those. But we're kind of the how to, which is a great place to start. And I just wanted to say that I mentioned in my group that during this time of learning, your PLC should be your go-to. Testing things out with your PLC, encouraging them, helping them, learning from them. That should be your go-to. And if that's not happening for you for whatever reason, please reach out to other people your grade level, the specialists, someone on your site so they can connect you maybe to other PLCs, maybe partner up with another PLC to help try things out, because that's always a safe place and should be a place that you want to go to first.
A lot of people are liking the breakout room feature, Google Classroom. There is somebody, Robin, who wants to know more about Google Meet, which I would suggest maybe emailing Alicia later because that's her thing.
I love Google Meet.
But a lot of people really like just the lesson layout of everything.
There's one comment about breakout rooms. Yes, you can assign individual students to specific groups, so they're at their own level, and you can also, as the teacher, jump into those other breakout rooms so you can hear the conversation and kind of foster communication if no one's talking. But those are just some of the features of a Zoom, and they're found on our website. I know there wasn't a lot of time to look through it, so that's why we're glad that you were here the first day, because now you can click on things, look at things, and at the bottom of the website on each page of your Google app, there's going to be a little contact the tech team. If you have any questions or need any help or more tutorials, you can contact us through that so we can keep helping you. But the website is only as good as it's utilized. And so now we're going to move to the second part of our session where Bethany is going to model how to get content from the site and put it into a Google Classroom so your students can use it.
Alicia, could before we move to Bethany, can I just have you answer a question? Because I think this is important. Somebody is asking if you can see all the breakout rooms so that you can monitor inappropriate behavior. They want to know if you can see them simultaneously.
As I know, not right now. You have to jump, your screen pops up and it says what room you want to join. It doesn't have them all like broken up into like little grids with the people. So personally, as a second grader, I wouldn't use breakout rooms. I would figure out a different way. But yeah, you would just have to constantly be going to different breakout rooms to check on them. That might be a feature we can suggest.
We also had a few people express that they needed more time. What specifically did you guys need more time with? Are you referring to the website?
Just dig it in. It's going to take an hour or so.
Yeah. So we'll be going over it. That was just kind of like a brief letting you explore so that we could also show the breakout rooms. But this website is going to be available for you from this point on. So you have all the time you want to go over it. Alicia will just be doing, and Bethany are doing an overview, and I hope that helps a lot. But we have to move on with the session because we have a lot of things to cover.
So
and we're really quick. Go ahead.
I'm teaching math second grade, and how those sessions are going to go is they're going to teach you a lesson from the content. They're then going to take you to the website to show you where it can be found and how to copy it there. So you're going to get more exposure to the website. We're just going to teach you how to use it and then hopefully let you play around with it. And if you have any questions, we're always here to contact.
Yeah, our goal is to really have you guys create something digitally so that you can walk away with, a classroom, putting things from the website into folders, things like that. Alicia, before we do move on, somebody had a real quick question since you mentioned it. Since you mentioned that you would not do breakout rooms for second grade, what do you do instead?
What I did is I used Google Meet, but you could use a Google Zoom code. And I broke my hour-long block into schedules. And I did like reading groups, group A, group B, group C, group D. And the other students would be doing an activity on Google Classroom independently that I posted. And then they knew at a certain time to come back to the meet. And they could just click on the link to come in without anything. So I would have like 3 rotations of like 6 kids, 7 kids. Another way I did it is I do a whole group lesson with my 25 kids, and I'd say, okay, everyone but Johnny, Sam, Samantha, stay with me. The rest of you leave the meet, go to Google Classroom, work on this assignment. I would show them where it is in Google Classroom, and then those 5 students would stay with me, and I could reteach a lesson or help them learn a skill that they were struggling with whole class. So just little tips like that is how I modeled it, because I knew my second graders would probably be sitting in that breakout room like not talking. So, and I knew my students, they were good kids, but it's just a very different environment.
So now I'm going to jump on and I'm going to be showing you guys a few different things. So Alicia is going to be taking over the chat. Some of you guys were private messaging me. So if you have questions like that, just go ahead and address it towards her now. So I am going to share my screen and I'm going to show you some interesting things. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to start with organizing a folder in Google Drive that is going to house all of the things that you can use for virtual learning. This will make it 1,000 times easier to upload items onto Google Classroom. So I really want you guys to think about this as kind of like a filing cabinet that you're going to store your digital files in. So to start off with, we are going to go from google.com, and please make sure you're logged into your BCSD account. I am going to just click on the waffle right up here. And I'm going to head on into Google Drive. And one more thing I'd like to say before we continue to reiterate, we understand that this may be going at a really fast pace. We have a very short period of time to show you guys so many, like 10 hours worth of things. There are going to be videos available immediately after, 5 to 10 minute videos. They're going to show you exactly what I'm doing right now for your availability to watch and rewatch and pause. So please don't stress if you miss a portion or if you're falling a little behind. So I'm in Google Drive and I am using my lovely mother's Google Drive since she doesn't have access to the tech stuff, so it looks like yours. And if you are like my mom, who I do love very much, and have a very chaotic Google Drive and have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of documents to where you can't find them, this is going to be very beneficial. So what I'm going to start off by doing in Google Drive, I'm going to go to New and create a folder. So remember, a folder is really going to be like a filing cabinet for your things. So I went to New Folder, and myself personally, I'm going to name it 2020-2021 School Year, because I want to use it for the 2020-2021 school year. I'm going to hit create. And voila, I have a 2020-2021 school year folder. So again, I hit new and folder. Once I have that done, there's 2 steps here. I'm going to click it open. And once I'm inside, this is like me opening up my filing cabinet. What am I going to put in here? I'm going to put probably content specific things. Today, we're focusing on the first 3 days. So I am going to make a first 3 days folder. I'm going to go to new folder and just title it first 3 days. In the future, if you want to make folders for math and ELA, that is something you can do. Right now, we're just focusing on the first 3 days. So again, from Google Drive, you're going to go to new folder, make a 2020-2021 folder, open it up. and then make a first 3 days folder. So I'm gonna give you guys some time to do that. Please come and tell us in the chat if you're struggling, if you need me to repeat something, or if you're done. It may seem very simplistic, but if you're done, please just let us know in the chat so it tells us when we can move on.
Go Mike. And was it Mari or Mary? Good job, Sarah, Adriana, Teresa. Move, you're going too fast now. But doing this with your students automatically holds them accountable, because so-and-so, why didn't you put done? Or I'm going to look at your work later and see. And it's just that little bit of engagement so your students don't tune you out and say, and just kind of lean back and say, I'm done.
About 1 more minute, then I'll show you the next step. So again, you're making...
One more time for Marina,
So,
because she wasn't able to do it, so we're going to see if we can catch what's going on.
yeah, so in my drive, I'm going to click New Folder, and I'm going to make a 2020-2021 school year folder, and then I'm going to hit Create. Once I do that, it'll be right here. Then I can double click it to open it. And I'm going to make one more folder inside here. And I'm going to call it the first 3 days. So like I said, in the future, if you want to make a math folder, ELA, history, whatever your content area is. Once we've done that, I'm going to open a new tab. So as you see right up here, I'm going to hit this little plus sign. And I'm going to go to the DFP website, as we call it, or go.bcsd.com/DFP. And Alicia will drop it in the chat again for you. But if not, it's pretty easy to remember. And from there, we're going to go to grade level lessons. And we're going to click on the first 3 days. And then I'm just going to pause and hang out right there, give you guys a minute to do that. Go ahead and go to the DFP website, go to grade level lessons, first 3 days, and please put a done in the chat box when you have completed it.
We just call it the DFP.
The DFP website.
The DFP.
It's stuck in my head forever.
It would be cool if it was A, B, C. No kidding. Looking pretty good.
Awesome. So this is a page for the first 3 days. We didn't really want to get grade level specific since there are so many varying grade levels here. So we're going to focus on the first 3 days. And if I scroll a little bit down, here are some example content you can actually give your students. This is real content you can upload into your classroom. There's example flip grids. There's example forms, like an all about me form, just like you would give a student maybe on the first day. Here's a paper, tell me about yourself. You can do that same thing digitally. The thing is, because there were so many great teachers collaborating on all of these different content, they chose some different ways to provide it to you. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can take something from the website and put it into your drive. And these are the 3 different ways that you're probably going to see in your own grade level content area. So we're going to start off right here in Google Forms, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the title. As you see when I click, sorry, Siri's going off. As you see when I clicked on the title, this is what it pops up. It doesn't let me look at it. It is going to force me to make a copy. So again, when I clicked on it, it popped up like this. Nothing's wrong. We're just going to make a copy. So I'm going to go ahead and click make a copy. And now it opens up. So here's my getting to know you form. There's what's your name, how many brothers and sisters, all that stuff. The problem is right now, it's just floating in the abyss of Google Drive. It's not in a folder. It's just floating with all those files that you saw. We want to make sure it's organized. So after you click make a copy, I'm going to go right here. So do you see to the right of the name? There's a little folder. I'm going to click on that folder. And then now it gives me the option to put it where I want. I want to put it in the filing cabinet folder I made. So I'm going to find right here the 2020-2021 school year. Click on that arrow. And then I want it to be in the first 3 days. So I'm going to click on the first 3 days. I can see that it's blue. So I'm going to hit move, and it will move it to that folder. So one more time, from the first 3 days, I'm going to click Google Form. I'm going to make a copy. And then right to the right of the name, a little folder will appear. If you click the folder, you can choose where you want it to go. I'm going to have it go in the 2021 folder and click on the first 3 days. Move. So now that file is in the first 3 day folder.
Quick note, if you have a minimized screen, not all of the features will appear. There are 3 dots to the side that you can also click on to get the move to option. Or you can maximize your screen.
So go ahead and give that a try if you haven't already. Let us know in the chat if you're done or if you need me to repeat anything. We'll move on in just a moment.
What we want to point out is that every content, lesson, resource here, that is a Google app such as Slide, Drawing, Doc, once you make a copy, you have the ability to change things, add things, delete things, and that's what we really encourage you to do. That Google form quiz I made for primary grades. If you want to take it, change the pictures out, put something special, what content you want to know about your students, add to it. Don't be afraid to change it up because this is now yours once you make a copy, and it is for your students and your teaching style. Ah, looking pretty good.
Awesome. So that's one way. So the first way is it forced us to make a copy. We didn't get to look at it or anything. It made us do it. Then we organized it. This is the second way.
Bethany,
Yeah.
real quick, sorry. So I have someone saying when they're going to the site, they don't see first 3 days. Could you show them that again?
Yeah. So if you first go to the site, it's under grade level lessons, which after today we realized, oh, maybe it shouldn't be, but it's under grade level lessons for right now. So if you click on grade level lessons, there it is, the first 3 days. And it will get you right to the point that I'm at now.
So I guess we could say, just go to the pink circle.
So after you make a copy, the step was to what, Bethany?
After you make a copy, the step was to then organize it and put it in your folder. So give me a moment to open it. So once you make a copy right here again, a little folder will show up. And you would select the 2020-2021 school year. And then the first 3 days and hit move, and it'll move it there for you. So there's force to copy. I'm gonna show you the second way you may be presented content on the website, and that is over here. We're gonna click on this All About Me digital poster. So a digital poster for All About Me is pretty much like your student has their picture of them and they get to put pictures around them of their age or what they like, things like that. It's a very great first day activity, not only for getting to know them, but also for teaching them to like use technology. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to click on the title, All About Me digital poster. And as you see what happened, it didn't tell me to make a copy. I'm here, but just because I'm here doesn't mean I own it. I do not own this document because if you see at the top left, it says view only. I could only look at it. I want to make a copy for myself so I can give it to my students. So I'm going to go to File, Make a Copy, and it's the exact same thing as clicking on that folder. So here's the name, and then here's the folder where I can put it. So I don't want it there. I want to put it in my 2020-2021 school year folder. So I'm going to click right here where it says first 3 days. And as you see, this isn't my folder. There's a back arrow right here at the top left. If I hit that back arrow, then it takes me to my drive. So I'm going to go to my drive. 2020-2021 school year, and then first 3 days, and hit select. So again, when I open it, the All About Me, I'm going to go to File, Make a Copy, and then I just need to adjust where the folder is. So I'm going to click right here and hit this back arrow. And remember, we know it's fast. We're so sorry. We have a very short period of time. There are videos immediately after to where you can watch everything we're doing. So I'm going to select my drive, 2020-2021 school year, and the first 3 days. I'm going to select and hit OK. And then it opens up my own copy. Like Alicia said, you're free to change the directions. You're free to edit it, change the background, anything like that.
And
So
what you can do for younger grades is you could put like boxes and more of a template for them to fill out, and kind of do that by grade level too.
Yes, so go ahead and take a moment. If you haven't already, try it yourself and put it in the chat box if you need me to repeat it or if you're done.
The only little hint I would give is when you rename your copy, to delete the copy of part, because you're going to have a bazillion different resources that say copy of. And if you try to organize it just by like name, it's going to organize it by copy of, not All About Me or Google Form Getting to Know Me. So little things like that will.
If you watch the video of me doing it, I do mention it in there. I don't want to be overwhelming here. But yeah, that is in the video about how to change the name as well. Great point. Looking good?
We had people following along right with you.
Yay.
So let's see. I'm thinking we're looking good.
Perfect. So remember,
hold up. Is it an assumption that parents will navigate all this for kindergartens? This is only for teachers. This site is for teachers only, not parents. Parents will only see content you put into Google Classroom, which will be one of the things we show you next.
Yes. So those were two ways that you can get content. So the first one was it forced you to make a copy. The second one was we had to open it and then make a copy. And I'm going to show you the third way that your grade level may have you get the content. So if I scroll up to the top, you see right here, there's a button that says Google Drive folder. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Google Drive folder. And what this is going to do, it is going to open the whole folder in Google Drive where all of my things, not my things, where all of the things are housed for the first 3 days. So none of these are mine, but they can be. So this option is given to you by content teams if you want to just look through things and pick and choose a few, but not everything. So again, I went to the Google Drive folder. And then I'm going to select one I want. So remember, we were making a tutorial, we were making a template about how to do an All About Me. As a teacher, I would want to show my students an example of what that could look like. So what I'm going to have you do right now is we are going to make a copy of the example. So as you see right here, this bright purple file, I'm going to go ahead and double click and open it. And we were right back to where we were last time, where it's view only. So if you recall, we need to make a copy. So we're going to go to File, Make a Copy, and do that all again. Let me back up. Google Drive folder right here. I want to open up this example, All About Me. And I'm going to make a copy. So if you recall, we're going to go to File, Make a Copy. And from there, like Alicia mentioned, you can delete the copy of if you wish. This is just the name of it. but I need to really focus on the folder. What folder am I going to put it into? So I'm going to click on the name of the folder, hit the back arrow, and now I can go from my drive to my 2020-2021 school year and my first 3-day folder. And as soon as I hit select, it shall be right there. And now it's my own copy. I can edit it. I can change it to my name, make it about me, and use that as an example. So again, file, make a copy, and just choose your folder. So go ahead and take a moment to do that. Let us know in the chat how it's going.
Thank you, Kimberly and Sarah. Good job, Daniel. Allison and Sarah, Kimberly, Virginia. Looks like we're doing pretty good.
Awesome. Great job, you guys. So from there, we are now going to work on taking the content that we just got from the site and putting it on a Google Classroom so that your students and their parents can access it. Based off of the Jamboard, I know a lot of you guys have used Google Classroom previously, so a few of these steps you might already know, but I'm going to give you a few more ideas about how to use it for virtual teaching. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to my waffle right here. And this time I'm going to select Google Classroom. So right at the top of Drive, there's the waffle. I'm going to select Google Classroom. And if you've never used Google Classroom before, it may give you a prompt to just kind of log in as a teacher. That's fine, but most of you have already used it. So from here, I'm going to hit this plus sign at the top and select Create Class. So plus sign, Create Class. So again, I just went to Google Classroom from the waffle. Plus sign, Create Class. And I'm going to name it. It's completely up to you. You can always change the name later. I'm going to name it 2020-2021 school year. You don't need to worry about the section or the subject or the room. Just give it a name that you like and hit create.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
So let us know how you're doing in the chat if you need me to repeat it.
Just a little heads up, we talked about in earlier sessions that you can create multiple Google Classrooms if you are multiple subjects teacher, or special ed teachers may want to contact the homeroom regular teacher to see if you could co-teach a Google Classroom so you can have access to the content that's being taught to the students.
Or if you're a middle school teacher who has many periods, you can create a class for each period. How's it looking in the chat?
Pretty good. We're jumping on with one trying to help, and we may model it at the end again.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll have time to model it again at the end. Okay, so in your Google Classroom, I'm going to go over a few different options. So here we have the stream, and I want you to think of the stream as kind of like the home page where you would get all of your information. So this is where the really important information is going to go. If you have an important update, or what I would use it for is if I want to post my class Zoom link so that it'll always be there. I can click and say, here is our class Zoom link, and then paste it there, whatever it might be. And as soon as I hit post, there it is. So that message will stay there right up front. Whenever they enter, it's right there. And here's the little box to type it. So that was the stream, again, for important notifications. Next, we're going to move on to the People tab. So let's look at the People tab. This is where you're going to see who the teachers are and what students are in the class. Right now, I don't have any students in my class because I just created it, but no worries, we're going to show you how to fix that. So students, there's a plus sign and there's a number. There's a few different ways you can add students. I think it really depends on your grade level. If you're intermediate or middle school, it's probably going to be more simple for you to give the students the code and tell them, hey, join classroom. I would say 99% of them probably know how to do it from a previous teacher. So that's one way. Or the other way, if you want to guarantee all of them can see it, or if you have primary pre-K students, right here, there is a little add students button. So if I click this add students button, all I have to do is type the name of my students and it will automatically send them the classroom. So let's just say that Susan was my student. So I'm going to type in Susan and oh, look, there she is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and select her. And I can type in more student names. I'm just going to do Susan for now and hit invite. And as you can see right here, it says that she was invited. So whenever little Susan was to open her Chromebook and get on Google Classroom, it would pop up and all she would have to say is accept. And that's pretty much a guarantee that, especially for the younger ones, that they're going to see it. This obviously would be time consuming if you had middle school or multiple classes, which is why I recommend the little number for them. But this is a great way. It takes about 5 minutes to enter your student's name for the primary. And Alicia, do you want to mention the Aries?
So another way to roster your students to a Google Classroom is to link it to your Aries account, which will have all your students already in there. When you do that, your students will automatically be put in. So when they click on their Google Classroom link, their classroom will magically appear. Now, this will happen later on, probably closer to August when the 2021 year gets put in, because right now they're upgrading from last year to this year's students. But yes, you can link your Google Classroom to Aries and students will auto-populate. And we've created tutorials on the Create a Google Classroom page on our EdTech website that can walk you through that step.
And just like for students, for teachers up here, if you're a SPED teacher and you would like to join in on another classroom, that teacher can add you to it. If you just click the name right here, you can add another teacher also to be on it with you. So you guys would have the same power. You'll be able to see everything, make assignments. So that's an option as well. So let's head over to the ClassWork page. The ClassWork page is one of the most important pages. This is where your students are going to go to get all of their assignments. So remember, the stream is kind of like posting for important notifications. The ClassWork is for assignments. So before we do that, I forgot one important step, the stream. So you guys saw how I could post on the stream. The automatic setting for Google Classroom is everybody can post on the stream. Timmy can post on the stream. Susan can post on the stream. Jimmy can post on the stream. Everybody can post on the stream. So we need to change that setting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to the top right and we're going to select this little gear settings icon. So on your classroom, if you can, please click the gear settings icon. And you'll see a bunch of different settings pop up. This is also if you want to change the name of your class, you can do it here. But we're going to scroll down to the general area. So I'll give you a moment to go ahead and do that. And in this general area, you can see that here's the code that you can give your students as well. So like I said, if you're upper, intermediate, middle school, this is the code. You would say, hey, here's the code, join the class. I'm sure they would know how to do that. If not, there are videos on the DFP website. Right here is the stream. So like I said, automatically it's set so that students can post and comment. Meaning if Nicole thought that she had something really cool to say, like hello, she can go and post that on the stream and everybody would be able to see it. They can comment on it, they can have little conversations. So unless you're really monitoring it, you kind of want to change that setting. So there are 3 options. Their students can post and comment. Their students can only comment, meaning you're the one who posts, but they can comment under it. And then there's only teachers can post and comment, meaning students can't put any words up there on the stream. So that is your personal preference. Being 3rd, 4th grade, I tend to leave it for students can comment. In case they have a question, they kind of type it underneath there. But it is up to you. So select which one you feel would be a best fit for you. Either students can only comment or only teachers. The next thing we're going to look at is classwork on the stream. So the stream's like your homepage. You kind of don't want to keep it boggled down with all of these other things, like all the student assignment links, because they have their own area for that in classwork. So what we want to do is we want to change it so the only thing students see in the stream are the important messages. So under classwork on the stream, I'm going to click this and change it to hide notifications. That means anytime I post an assignment, it won't pop up and say, hey, there's an assignment, because I'm already going to be telling my students that. So again, students can only comment or teachers only. And under classwork stream, hide notifications. So go ahead and take a moment and fix your settings if you haven't already.
No comments so far, so pretty good.
Awesome. And here's one other area is guardian summaries. If you want to toggle that switch on and add a class, that is a way where you can enter in parents' individual emails and they will get a summary of everything that you've posted in Classroom for the week and everything that's happened. Another alternative to that is if the parents download the Google Classroom app on their phone and log in with their kid's name, they will get a notification, a little push notification every time a new assignment is posted. So once you've done that, please make sure that you hit save at the top right so that all of your work is not lost. And now we're going to go to classwork. All good, Alicia?
I'm about to say yes.
Awesome. So classwork, I love classwork. That's why I wanted to jump to it before. Classwork is very much like what we did in Google Drive, how we made a folder so we can keep everything organized. That's what we're going to do for our students because we want them to be organized and find things easily as well. So just like we created a folder in Google Drive, we're going to create a folder, also known as a topic, in Google Classroom. So what I'm going to do, make sure I'm under the Classwork tab. I'm going to hit Create, and then go way down at the bottom and go to Topic. So this is totally your personal preference. You can create history or math or ELA, but for right now, since we're doing the first 3 days, I'm going to title this topic The First 3 Days. And then I'm going to select Add. And again, everything I'm doing right now, immediately after, you will have access to a 5 to 10 minute video of me walking you through it again. So don't feel that you have to be rushed or anything like that. So again, I went to Create Topic, and I just named it First 3 Days. So go ahead and take a moment to do that if you haven't already. Let us know when you're done in the chat or if you need any other assistance.
Looking good.
Awesome. So now that we have all of that back-end work set up, we're going to go ahead and take the items that we saved from the website, the DFP website, and we're now going to put those items in Google Classroom. And the great thing about that is we don't have to go and open Drive and move things. We can do everything from this page right here. So what I'm going to do, just like how we created that topic, I'm going to go to the Create button. But instead of a topic, we're going to create an assignment. So create assignment. And this little window is going to pop up. What I'm going to have us do, we are going to, let's post the All About Me tutorial template. So that's going to be something easy that students can do on the first day of school. And it's a great way to test their technology skills. So what I'm going to do for the title, I'm going to say All About Me. And then I'll pause and give you a moment. And on the bottom left, there is a little button that has a paperclip and it says Add. That is where we are going to be able to get our things from Google Drive. So I'm going to click this little button right here that says Add. And I'm going to add it from Google Drive. So you see the option is the first one there. I'm going to go ahead and select that. Now, whenever you select that, the default is it goes to opening all of your most recent documents, which to me, that looks so messy, I can't deal with it. So I like to go a little bit over right here where it says My Drive. If I click on the My Drive button, you can see there, it looks like My Drive, it's all neat and clean. I know where everything is. So again, we went from Add, Google Drive, and then we clicked on My Drive. From there, instead of having to scroll through and find everything where it is, I kept my stuff organized. So I'm going to go to my 2020-2021 school folder, double click it, and then I'm going to click open my first 3 days folder, so double click. And as you see, everything we did earlier is saved in this folder. Now, I need to think, for this All About Me assignment, what am I going to send to my students? I'm going to send them the example of what it looks like and probably the template. Do I need to send them the form? No, that's something else. So I'm going to focus on these two. So I'm going to go back real quick. So Add, Google Drive, then go to My Drive so it's neat and organized. And then now I can go to my 2020-2021 school year, first 3 days, and I'm going to click on the template and the example. And you can see they're highlighted blue. It says I have 2 selected. I'm going to hit Insert. And I will pause right there. Please take time to do it yourself if you're following along, and let us know in the chat if you're done or if you need more assistance.
Adriana's on it, man. Woo-hoo. Melissa, Natalie, Ryan, Tracy.
Wow, they're coming in like lightning. Now, I really love to see that. And at the same time, I don't want you to feel bad if you're struggling, because we have all levels in this class, but I will say, good job.
This is my favorite group so far.
Okay, so we have someone who went to ClassWork and they got lost. Can we help them?
So under ClassWork, you're going to go to Create Assignment.
And 9 times out of 10, you just need to know how to do an assignment. Forget about everything else below it.
And if you notice, I hadn't posted my assignment, but I clicked out of it real fast so I can show that person. So if you're working with your PLC, or if you don't want to post everything at once, because you really don't want to post everything for the whole week at one time, because your students will see all of it at once and they'll be confused. So even with my things set up like this, I can exit out. And if you see, it's just kind of grayed out up here, meaning it's saved as a draft. So that's always a good option.
I want to address a question in the chat. They asked, we should be picking make a copy, otherwise they're just able to view it. Okay, so I just want to recap. If it's something you just want them to watch, like a video, what?
We're not there yet.
Oh, so you didn't even go over that yet?
Okay. To show them the assignment. That's what I showed them.
Well, this person was getting ahead of themselves. So,
overachievers there.
I see where you were going.
Yes. So, because you had me exit out right here. I let people get to this part. So,
sorry.
They made a very great point. So right here, we have two things. We have the template and we have the example. As you see right here, there are little options next to it. It automatically defaults to student can view file. Just like whenever you guys open stuff from the website, all you could do is look at it. That's all your students can do too. So sometimes it's good, sometimes you need to change it. So if we look at the template, you can think, do I need my students to look at it? No, I need everybody to have their own copy of it. So if I open this, I have three options. Students can view file, students can edit file, which means there's one file and all of your students can come and edit it. That's not really what you want unless you have some kind of collaborative thing going on. But typically, one file, 25 students. So what you want to do most of the time is make a copy for each student. So as long as that is selected, that means each student is going to have their own individual copy of the All About Me template that they can go ahead and individualize.
I just want to reiterate, if you remember nothing else from making an assignment, remember this, because I know when I first started with Google Classroom, I only made that mistake once, and you will probably only make that mistake once, because what happens is all the students are on the same file, and when you're in the classroom, they're like, Mrs. Lopes, oh my gosh, they're deleting my work. And so, like I said, if you remember nothing else, remember, make a copy for each student. Just like you wouldn't hand one worksheet out and have all the kids put their answers on it. Not that we hand out worksheets though, right?
The great thing about make a copy for each student is that when they click on that link in Google Classroom is going to automatically make a folder in your Google Drive, which then will give you access to every single copy that was created by your students. That means you can then go into their copy and see what they're doing, so you can give feedback, you can edit it, and you can keep that contact with them and make sure that they are following along and getting the curriculum.
I love to periodically pop in to my students' document just so they know that I can, because they see my little cursor come up that says Mrs. Lopes, and they make sure that they're on task and doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's a good tool at the beginning when your kids are getting used to it, to kind of periodically pop on their documents.
It's also good for accountability for us now, because we have to have so much contact minutes where students have to be able to contact you, and you working on the same doc as the student, correcting things, dropping comments, them commenting back. You're having that little small group conversation with your students and making sure that they are focused, they're involved, and they're participating. So more important than you think, make a copy.
And just to make it clear what they're talking about, while your students are working on something, you can actually pop into that document very easily and see what they're doing, which I believe I'll have time to show you that in a moment. So we did make a copy for the template. If we look down below the example, do I need all of my students to have a copy of the example? No. So I'm going to leave it as students can view file. They just need to be able to look at it to see that they can do something similar. So there's that portion of it. I'm going to hop over to the right side now and look at these options. So if you see points, it automatically defaults to 100 points. You can change it to whatever you want. For me personally, for an All About Me, I would leave that ungraded. So if you click the little arrow right here, ungraded should pop up. So I'm just going to click ungraded. I don't want to grade this. I'm just trying to get to know them, build their tech skills, build my tech skills. And the last part, the topic. So you see this little folder right here. We went through all that work to make a topic folder for the first 3 days. We want to make sure it gets in there so that it's organized for our students. So I'm going to click on topic, and I'm going to go down here and select the first 3 days. So I want to make sure that this assignment gets posted under the first 3 days topic. Once I have all that set up, I'm going to go ahead and hit assign. And it tells you students will be able to see this assignment immediately. So I can click assign or cancel. This could be a point where if you want to exit out and save it as a draft, if you're making something else, you can. But for me, I'm going to assign it.
Let's say schedule it for future.
That's a whole other thing.
Alicia and Bethany, I had someone ask, what is the best way to upload a PDF for material? You want to answer that?
Can they clarify what they're wanting them to do with the PDF? Because if they're wanting them to manipulate it, that's not possible. Or do they just want them to look at it?
That was me, Bethany. And it would be like, for example, I would be creating the classroom for my staff to give them resources.
Yeah.
So basically it would just be for them to view, to read, to have access to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there are two different ways. If it's saved in, let me create a new assignment. If it's saved in your drive, then you can do it that way. If it's located in your computer, you would just go to add, and then you would add a file. And then when you add a file, you can choose anything, either recent, or if you click this little upload button right here, you can browse anything on your computer and you can do it there too. So it depends.
Yeah, and I'm able to do that, and that's pretty simple. That my only concern is some of these PDFs do not transfer over very well, and so if we want them to have access, if we try to open it in Google, Google Drive or Google Docs, it moves. I mean, so is there just
you have to make sure. Oh, sorry. You have to make sure that you upload it as a PDF and you open it as a PDF. Because if you open it as a Google Doc, it's all crazy all over the place. So make sure that you upload it, save it as a PDF, and then when they go to open it, they open it as a PDF. It should be fine if you do that.
Because sometimes when you have things in Drive, like say, if you click on it from this point right here, if you try and click on it to open it, it may say, do you want to open it as a Google Doc? If you do that, that's when it gets kind of crazy. But if you were to just upload something right here as a PDF, it will go to them as a PDF.
Thanks for clarifying that.
So that is classwork. So that is how you can organize that section of it. I'm going to show you guys one more area. This time, it's not something you need to follow unless you want to, but I'm going to head back on over to the DFP website. I really suggest if you guys have time just looking through it. One important feature that we have is the how-to tutorials for kids. So this is a page that has a lot of different videos for different skills for students. So it ranges anything from simple Chromebook skills, such as typing a capital letter or the @ sign using a mouse. There's Google Classroom, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Drive, Google Drawings, Flipgrid, and there's even a little request at the bottom to request other things. These are videos that you can send to your students through Google Classroom and show them how to do things. So for example, if you assign your students the All About Me template we just uploaded in Classroom, but you yourself have no idea how to use Google Drawings or put in a picture, you can watch this video, this inserted image video, or you can also watch it and send it to your students for them to watch as well. So these are tutorials specifically designed for students to kind of do a little walkthrough, just how you would rewatch a video to learn something. And if you,
like Bethany said, we have those on there for the students. We don't really want to direct the students to our website where all of our lessons are. So you don't want to do that. And it's possible that in the future we'll have another website that's just for parents and students. But as of right now, we have a lot of student tutorials on there. So you want to make sure that you just give them the video and not direct them to our website.
Yes, that was my next point. So I was going up here. If you look up here, there's actually a video tutorial for how to actually take the video link and send it to your students in classroom. Because like Susan mentioned, please do not give your students the link to the site and say, oh, go watch the videos on Google Drawings. Because like she mentioned, they will have access to all of the curriculum and everything like that. So this is a really great resource. And like I said, there is a request at the bottom. If you need more things to teach your students how to do it, it will send it to us and we will do our best and our most timely manner to get a video up for you. Another area is right here, the Virtual Summer Institute. So as Alicia and I mentioned earlier, this current session is being recorded, and hopefully by today or tomorrow, it will be uploaded into a video that you can re-watch right here on the website. So if you want to go through and watch the whole thing or just sections of it, you're free to do that. We also have our presentation linked. So if you click this right here, it will take you to our presentation, where there are also many videos showing you everything I just did. So for example, if you need to, let me find it. If you need to create an assignment for All About Me and you're like, I have no idea what she did, she went too fast, you can watch this video right here, the All About Me assignment. It's me walking you through the exact same thing. There's a lot of different videos and resources on here. We actually are doing really good on time, so I'm going to close our success criteria, and that will give us more time to answer specific questions for you guys and show you a little bit more tailored of things you can do. So I just want to make sure today, have we successfully created a Google Classroom for the 2020-2021 school year and upload content from the EdTech website into that classroom for the first 3 days? Hopefully you were able to either successfully do that, take notes on how to do that, or be able to rewatch it. It's hard to talk for 6 hours. I haven't done it in a long time. Sorry. So we hope that you guys did that. Like I said, we're going to take a few more questions before we give you guys the final evaluation at the very end. Please make sure there's 2 things you guys have to do. There's an eval, which lets us know how we did. More importantly for you, the sign out. If you don't sign out, you're not able to get paid. So please, please, please make sure you fill out both. So I'd like to stop sharing and open it to any questions or comments.
And these you get to share out.
Is there anything you guys want us to show you again?
I don't see any resources for Project Lead the Way. Do you know if those will be available at any point?
I feel you, because I teach that as well. I have absolutely not heard anything about that. I will be asking Brandon, but to my knowledge, no, especially because you guys in middle school, that's a core class. I'll shoot an email to Brandon and ask, but to my knowledge, I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I see someone commented that it's really overwhelming for them. Are you referring to the website or just the information overload? What area do you think that you might need some more support in? You can put it in the chat or unmute yourself if you want.
I think with she and I were talking, it's just this whole dual thing, doing 2 things at one time. And that is a very difficult thing to do. And so that's hopefully why you have videos to watch, you can contact us. We can try to get in touch with you one-on-one to help you set up your Google Classroom, help you load content into your classroom. And if your Apple can't do it, then you can always reach out to the tech team and we will be there for you to help you, because I know this one is an amazing mathematical mind who can solve all these riddles and problems, and I'm amazed by her. And so we're going to get her teaching through Zoom so she can share all that with her students.
Sorry, just if I could offer just like a little bit of advice for people who are not tech savvy, maybe just like feel very overwhelmed and like, how do I practice this? So I love technology and I love to like offer out help. One thing that I found very helpful for teachers who have never used any of this is to practice using 2 devices. So if possible, if you have like a desktop and a laptop at home, like log into both so that you could be the teacher and the student and you can see what your students see, or like you can kind of play with it a little bit more, just to practice. I think that that was one of the things that Brandon had offered to a lot of teachers to do when we were talking about Google Meets and Zoom. But don't feel overwhelmed, guys. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make it through.
Even me, Miss Techie, had Chromebook, phone, laptop, tablet, trying to figure out how to Zoom because I was a Google Meet girl. I'm like, Zoom? We have to use Zoom? What is that? I don't know how to do that stuff, so let me practice.
Speaking
and that
of
literally
that,
was me.
someone mentioned what is the best resource to learn more about Google Meet, because it is an option. The district is giving you a free license for Zoom, but Google Meet is an option as well. Alicia, there are resources. Where are they located?
When you go to the Google Classroom guidebook, because Meet is integrated now, you're going to find a whole link for Google Meet with videos and how I used it during the distance learning. I use it with my 2nd graders because the link was there. It was always there. I didn't have to go form a Zoom, make a Zoom, I don't know. It's just like this whole Zoom thing has been like throwing me, but I persevered. But I liked Google Meet for the very reason that my students knew where it was all the time. I didn't have to move the code, leave the code. And the great thing about it is you can leave the code active and students can't get in unless you're there first. You have to make sure that everyone leaves before you shut it down, but there are some safeguards in there. Zoom is another choice, so we've created pages for both, and you can really just go through the content and see which one's better for you. But I'm a Google Meet girl.
just to reiterate, those of you who are feeling overwhelmed, we all feel it in some way or another. Just for example, today was our first time doing multiple Zooms, and we thought we'd be really efficient and have one person create all of them for the day, except we didn't realize that it blocks others from opening the meetings. So unless that person can be at 3 meetings at once, the other meetings wouldn't open. So we definitely had to fail forward on that one. And we're the tech team. And we didn't realize that because we hadn't done it yet. So find your safe space to learn. Is it your PLC? Is it your family? Is it your friends? Is it some teachers you know at another school? Definitely find your safe space. Reach out to us. You're taking the first step and you're here today. And remember what's important. You're contacting your students. You're letting them know that you're there. You're working hard to better your skills and make sure that your students feel connected and loved. And we know that that's what you all want because you're all here today. So you already are ahead of the game just by being here. Don't be down on yourself, and please reach out because I can't say this enough. We are all in this together.
And don't be afraid to fail in front of your students. Like I did this morning at 8 o'clock when I tried a Jamboard, and I'm like, it's not letting me in. I'm like, why not? So you learn things every time you use technology, and each time it gets a little bit better. And you just have to say, hold up, let's try that again, kids, because they're going to think it's new too. So
yes,
the best thing you can do is step
for
by
the
step.
last comment about trying to navigate the Zoom while looking at other things, I still struggle with that. I have another device. I have 2 devices in front of me. I've got 3 devices going on. right now. I'm so scared that I'm accidentally going to close out the meeting and it ends for everybody. That Zoom kind of just scares me sometimes. I think I'm going to ruin something. I'm always afraid, oh, I'm not muted and I just went and took a bite of my sandwich in front of everybody. I mean, you name it, and I've probably done it. So I want you guys to just relax and realize that you are in the same boat with all of us. We're all there. We're not experts by any means. We're learning right alongside with you. And you guys are helping us because you're pointing out things from another lens that we don't see from at times.
And that's a really important thing too, to not be afraid to show your students, you know what, I'm learning this too. So maybe you need to show them the Google Drawing video so they know how to do it, but just be like, hey, you know what, I need to know how to do it too. I think it's really good to show them, it's okay to not know everything. That's not a bad fault to have. I also want to note that Alicia and I have dropped our email a few times in the chat if you need help. And for those of you who feel like, hey, I got this, I was following along, there are going to be videos as well for the expanding session posted right underneath where I showed you the video for the intro session. So I really, really suggest that if you feel kind of okay-ish with this kind of technology stuff, go watch that expanding session. It's going to be really great. They're showing you specifically how to break up into small groups. They're showing you how to monitor students, I believe, using GoGuardian to see what they're on. They're showing you how to make a website to send out to your parents. So they're doing a really lot of cool stuff in there. So highly recommend checking out that video if you can.
And one last thing for those who are struggling with tech and you can't meet face-to-face, having just a one-on-one Zoom where you yourself share the screen with a tech person and we can show you, kind of walk you through where to go, might be an option to help you feel a little bit more comfortable with using tech. And hopefully your Apple or contacting your PLC can help you do that. And it's just trying and failing, because that was us at the beginning too.
And it's still us daily.
So momentarily, I'm going to first post the eval, and then I'll wait a few more minutes and post the sign out. So please don't leave after the eval. I just don't want to post it right now in case it messes up your guys' pay signing out a few minutes early. So I will post the eval though. So don't leave after the eval.
Yeah, because it does timestamp and we want everybody to get paid. It's really important that
everyone stayed the whole time. I can see the number at the bottom.
It's really important that you do the eval too. And our team has worked really hard. Feedback is feedback. If there are things that we need to change up, we are looking to improve our practice all the times. Teaching technology on Zoom is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult for us to teach, and it's even harder for you to learn, because we would like to be walking around, coming up behind you, showing you what to do. We would like to be doing that more than you. Trust us, because this is incredibly hard. So give us some suggestions. What do you want? Do you want more videos? Do you want more content about certain areas? Let us know on the feedback. Chances are we may have created it, but if we haven't, we probably will.
Someone wants to know if I can demonstrate how to show a breakout room. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can share my screen and demonstrate that.
You would only, I don't know if it has to be the host person who changes the features where you can actually show the Zoom settings.
So I can't.
It has to be.
There is a tutorial on the site.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. There's a lengthy Zoom, and then there's little videos on how to do it. So I would suggest watching that. It's like a 40-minute one, and then there's little ones. I do know whoever is the designated host, which I think it's Alicia, right? Or no, is it you, Bethany? You're the only one that can do the breakout rooms, because it has to be the host, not the co-host.
Possibly, yes, I can do breakout rooms.
But there's a setting where it allows you to share the settings on Zoom. When you share your screen, it doesn't share that feature.
Oh.
And I'm not quite sure how to turn that on.
See, we're still learning too. I mean, yeah, I was looking at the...
Chris showed us. Chris is our Zoom guy.
I know. Chris Daines is our Zoom guy.
So you guys have about 5 to 10 minutes before we're going to post the sign out, I will verbally let you know, hey, I posted it. If you want to take some time to go on the DFP website, a lot of you said you wanted to find Zoom. Look around. Huh? Yeah.
See if you can find the Zoom.
And also, you'll notice another reason that we're kind of learning new things on Zoom is our accounts just got upgraded to the pro type account from the free account. And if your accounts aren't updated yet, you won't have all those same features that we have, but yours will be updated. So make sure that you're watching for an invitation from Zoom. It will say Zoom, and it might say
from Doc.
Yeah, and it might say John Deaton is inviting you to join Doc Irvin's group, something like that, but it will be an invitation from Zoom. It will come to your BCSD email, and it's asking if you want to upgrade your account.
I have a quick question regarding the breakouts that you mentioned.
Yes.
Oh, yes, thank you. So I know you guys said that you had a breakout. There's a tutorial because you guys can't show the settings. Is there a tutorial regarding how to monitor breakouts? Is there a tutorial on like how to just make sure that nobody's kind of like acting a fool, and like how to address if someone starts acting a fool or puts a ridiculous background on themselves? Like, because that's why I'm paranoid about this particular platform, because I don't know enough about this program to stop, shall I say, shenanigans.
That's the biggest thing with all Zooms, and a lot of people I talked about would not use breakout groups at all for their students, because the only way you can monitor is you get a screen that says join group 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have to click on them to go to those sessions. And unless you were like constantly clicking and you only had like 4 groups, then you could see. You can kick a person out of a Zoom breakout group. You can keep your troubled kids that you know would goof off in the main room with you and not push them out to a breakout room. So there's little hints and like that, but there's no like feature in Zoom that says, let me see all the screens at one time in the Zoom and jump in. So it's just those little management tricks that you would have to.
And there was a mention in the chat too, GoGuardian is also a great way to kind of monitor. That's on the site as well. Something else too, as the host, we have the ability to mute you. We can turn off your video. So as far as like changing background, things like that, you do have the ability to be like, nope, your camera's off, change it back, things like that.
Yeah, you can limit them from changing their name, because I don't know if you guys have seen those memes where all the kids change their name to Connecting. Yeah. Really smart, actually. So there's all kinds of settings that you can lock down. Somebody also asked about posting their picture on their Google Classroom. I think it's perfectly fine if that's what you're comfortable with and you want to post a picture of yourself for your students. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it's an appropriate picture and you realize that it's out there on the internet at your own risk.
I mean, I do a Flipgrid and I'm talking on it and I post it for my kids. Yeah. So I'm out there.
Yeah.
You see some of these videos have me or my little Bitmoji and just say, that's the tech teacher teaching you how to do something.
Yeah, like someone says your students screenshot you anyway sometimes, which, I mean, that can get a little scary when it gets to the upper grades because, you know, we've all heard horror stories of photoshopping and all that stuff, but, you know, there's risks when we're in the classroom. We don't know. Sometimes if these students have taken pictures of us with their cell phones in the classroom. So all of those things are a concern, and it's hard to say the best way to handle them. You just kind of have to handle them situation by situation.
So I'm about to post the sign out very briefly. I would just like to say again, if you guys have any questions, whether it's from a teacher standpoint, SPED, admin, anything like that for technology, please feel free to contact us and let us know, even if you think it's something ridiculous. So thank you guys so much for coming and for being a great audience. I'm going to post the sign out code.
Hold up. Did we have a problem with the eval link?
Let's see.
Yeah, the eval link is just the slides.
Okay, one moment.
Okay, try this one that I'm posting.
You know what? You know what I did? I went to the bottom of the slides, to the very, very end of all of the slides, and you'll see the link in there in the survey. So you can just find that through the slides and then open that up.
Yeah, and if it prompts you to make a copy, just make a copy, and then you can scroll down and you can find it through there. Just hover over it and you'll get the link.
Thank you. And here is the sign out. So remember, they are very different. This is the one you get paid for, sign out. But again, thank you so much for coming.
And for your questions and sharing your experiences. That's all what it's about. Sharing what you went through, how you're going through it, how you're coping, because we need each other during this time.
Once again, I want to thank our presenters. They are amazing. I don't know if you guys realize how many nights and weekends these gals have worked. It's been a lot because they care and they want to share their knowledge. And so I cannot thank them enough for doing an amazing job at a very hard task. So once you are comfortable that you have the information, you've filled out the evaluation, you don't have to completely fill it out. At least if you have the link and you're comfortable, you can access it. You are free to leave, because we don't have a break in between sessions, so it won't hurt our feelings if you leave a little early. Just make sure you have those. And thank you very much. It's really great to see all of you.